Hey, I think we're recording. All right. Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me here again. I'm so grateful for all of you, grateful for your support, grateful that you're here today with us. And I'm so excited because I have a guest today, Mrs. Jeanie Brosius King, who is just the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful souls. I know a lot of beautiful souls, but she's one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. I'm having her on my show today because over the years, she's inspired me so much, and she's really helped me a lot and kind of mentored me and uplifted me so much. And honestly, she's such a service to humanity person. And it's so important to me, since I'm here for service to humanity, it's so important for me to have people on this YouTube channel that are also doing service for humanity. And so I'm just excited to have her today. So let me tell you a little bit about Miss Jeanie. Jeanie, oh my gosh, she has such an amazing background. She was a senior minister at Unity Church in Richardson, Texas. Her husband and her own a veterinary clinic and kennel. They've been doing service and healing to animals for years. She is a life coach. She is a successful entrepreneur and keynote speaker. She's best known for her giddy up attitude. She has a sincere passion for helping women get back on track. Her book, Giddy Up Girl, Why Are You Waiting, is a small compilation of her life experiences, tips, and help for those who want to see the bigger pictures of their own lives. Readers can read the first chapter for free online at giddyupgirlbook.com. Jeanie is the host for Be Now Radio and the co-founder of the Be Now, the Beautiful Network of Women. She interviews interesting women from all walks of life, bringing good news and information to her thousands of listeners. Be Now Women's Retreats are held over 4-day weekends in Texas. Please see her website for upcoming all-inclusive retreats on a luxury ranch in the Texas Hill Country, I guess March of 2021. And beautifulwomennetwork.com, which I'll include all of her stuff in the, all her contact info in the video description. And due to restrictions of 2020 affecting all of Jeannie's public appearances and speaking engagements and retreats, she was inspired to create a new bite-sized worldwide online spiritual church group without the church building. So basically, Jeannie is now minister of an online church, which I think is amazing that we can do this type of thing to help people. And in addition, so it's basically called TUG, which is True You Group. And in addition to small messages and music uploads each Sunday, TUG offers online meditations with Susanna Cox. And you can go to trueyougroup.com, click on Sunday services and meditations for that. Jeanie also records and uploads to YouTube, to her YouTube channel, 6 days a week, small inspirational messages, 2 minutes that can change your life. Jeanie is an ordained Unity minister and freely shares her messages, wisdom, and encouragement with all. And TUG, her new group, her new ministry, is followed by people all over the world, including New Zealand, Australia, Portugal, France, Germany, the UK, Denmark, Finland, Canada, Mexico, and the US. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Welcome to my show, Jeanie. I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much, Kimberly. You and I have been online friends for a long time. And, you know, I stand in awe of what you do too. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. So that is such a huge bio. And then you have other things. You were telling me you've had a winery, you had a bistro, a 5-star bistro. I mean, you've done so much in your life. But the most important thing I want to know, this is kind of a crazy question, but everybody I think wants to know this, is how have you been dealing with all the lockdowns and the restrictions? You know, I mean, you obviously, that inspired you to create what you're doing now. So tell us a little bit about how you're faring through all this and what you are doing to kind of contribute to helping people through this time.
That's a great question. So let me preface this by saying I'm a Dallas girl. I grew up in the big city. And then when my husband's wife died, in 2000, early 2009, then he and I actually met and developed our relationship, and we ended up getting married, and I moved to the ranch, which is in a small Texas town of 2,400 people. Okay. I had more than 2,400 people in my condo units by the lake. I was like, oh. So it was really interesting. So we built the winery from the ground up. I started a 5-star bistro. And, it was a way for me to get involved with the community too. But after we let the bistro go and the winery, due to circumstances of not being able to get Texas grapes, which is a whole nother story, but I started my beautiful network of women with Cindy Jordan. Cindy Jordan is an award-winning, she won the Country and Western Song of the Year in 1983 for writing Jose Cuervo, You Are a Friend of Mine.
Oh, wow.
So we all know that song.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, since then, subsequently, she's written screenplays. She has authored 3 historical novels. She's written children's songs. She has a Christian children's ministry. And so she does all the music for Tug, for the True You group. But to back up to your point, was this year, I was just back to back. I was supposed to be flying to Atlanta to be a keynote speaker, and I was supposed to be going to Chicago and, all this stuff, and in San Antonio to do retreats and all of that. And everything just slammed shut. And added to that, now I'm not complaining, really not, but I want people to know that when I talk about stuff, I really do know what I'm talking about, because in the past year, I have lost 20 relatives and friends to death. And none of these have been to the current situation. They've been weird things, accidents and illnesses and that kind of thing. And then I lost my little Hershey. He was a little miniature black lab, and we adopted him a year ago. And he was like 10 or 11 years old, and he had health problems, but he was my buddy. And we had to let him go back to the infinite in August. And that just totally laid me low. And I just thought, really, God, seriously, how much can I take? But what ended up happening is I started saying, okay, I can't travel. I can't go do any of these things. So what do you want me to do, God? And Kimberly, and you and I have had these conversations. If you sit still and shut up for a few minutes and listen, what a concept, right?
Yeah. Be still and know I am. That's what I always tell people.
Right. Know that I am God. I'm with God. God is in me. And all of a sudden the idea came, you know what? I'll bet there are a lot of people, because I even logged on to like other Unity churches that I used to speak at.
Right.
And to their credit, I've got to hand it to them. They're trying to deliver the same amount of substance to their congregation, but what I found is it didn't even hold my attention, because I thought, I don't mind sitting for an hour and a half if I'm surrounded by people and we're laughing and we're meditating and we're singing and all that. But I have a short attention span with this stuff. And I started talking to people, and they went, yeah, me too. I just can't watch it online. And I went, ding, ding. And so I was talking to my sister, and she said, I've been thinking about this. I think there's a whole wide world of people who think that way. And I started reaching out to people, and guess what? I was just like, whoa, yes. And so she even suggested, she said, well, why don't you do True You? And she said, I don't even know why that came. So I looked it up, and of course, everything with True You, no matter how you spell it, has already been taken, on URLs. But I said, well, I can do True You group. And she said, that's great. She said, it's Tug. So our little tagline, Kimberly, is your heart tugging you to a deeper spiritual experience?
I love that.
It just took off. And I have never been happier. I am so busy, which is great. I love being busy. Yeah. But I do every day, and I do this ahead of time, and I upload them on YouTube. But it's 2 minutes of inspiration, and it's a Christian message. I always have a small verse from the Bible that goes along with that, but it inspires and it makes you think and makes you laugh. And it's 2 minutes that can change your life. And our Sunday services are about 18 minutes, and it's a message. I always have Cindy Jordan's music. She has some beautifully produced music. And as you mentioned, we do have Susanna Cox, she does all of our yoga and our meditations at our women's retreats, the beautiful network of women. But she's on a separate tab, and people just love it. So I thank you for asking me about that.
Wow, that is, I got to tell you, I am the same way. I have a short attention span. I went to church, my whole life, literally since I was a baby, and I would sit there and I was bored, and I actually fell asleep sometimes because it was so boring to me. So the whole thing about short attention span, I totally get that. And I love the fact that you're doing it in kind of bite-sized, it's small, it's not hours, an hour long or an hour and a half of somebody rambling on and on and on, or, whatever. It's a small amount, and, people can digest it a little better. And it gives them upliftment at the same time. That's awesome, because the important thing is people need to be supported. They need to be felt like they're being supported, encouraged, and uplifted right now, because there's so much depression. In fact, I'm hearing things that the suicide rate is higher than the death rate from that disease that's going around. I mean, it's just crazy. There's so many people, young children, like these teenagers, this is what's upsetting to me, is all of the teenagers who, they were super dependent on their social life. You know what I mean? Like hanging with their friends and going to school and hanging out with everybody, with their peers. Junior high school years, so important. And even college. My poor son has been gypped out of his college experience, and my daughter too. Both of them have been gypped out of that whole experience of being able to go and make friends and meet people. And we moved hundreds of miles away, and then we relocated our kids and sent them off. And a lot of their friends are committing suicide.
Oh.
They have both of my kids have friends who are committing suicide because they are depressed, and they're not allowed to hang out with their friends. They can't go socialize. They can't do any of the things that gave them joy and happiness before all this craziness started. So, and if this keeps continuing, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, because of all the businesses that are going out of business. Where I live, I want to say that with the last lockdown, 50% to 75% of the restaurants and bars went out of business, and health clubs, which are important. Now bars, not so important, but health clubs are really important for people to be healthy. They're going out of business. They won't let people go exercise. It's crazy. So your ministry online is something that can hopefully help people, because you're giving them like something small, but it's valuable. It's very, very priceless, because it's giving them that upliftment. And if they do have a short attention span, like you said, it's something that they can handle,
Well, I do think there's just a way to do things differently.
Yeah.
And, with you talking about the teenagers too, this gives me an idea, because Cindy Jordan, we're putting together all of she's got things for children. She's got children's books, coloring books, children's songs. She's got a whole program called Walking with Jesus, which is just phenomenal fun. But it just makes me think I need to consider, and I'm going to check with the boss, and it works better that way.
Yeah.
But truly, to see about putting together a teen and a young adult type of ministry that would be done by somebody else, not necessarily me, under my auspices, of course.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea. And I think it's really necessary. One of the things I say about Tug too is we bring church to you. I mean, and it doesn't matter what continent, it doesn't matter what time zone. I have families of people who say, we pulled up the Tug Sunday service, and they said, we listened to the 2 minutes, because that's just audio with a picture, which is Monday through Saturday. But they said when church comes up, and of course they can access it at any time, but they said we just all gather around the computer, we get our coffee, and we put our slippers up on the desk here, and we just go to church. And some people who are doing a job in Guam right now for 5 weeks.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and she's one of our, she does laughter yoga with the Beautiful Network of Women. And she said, I just love it because we're not missing church. We're getting church, but we're getting it on our terms. And it just makes me feel so good.
Yeah, I think that doing that kind of ministry work just like fills you up inside. It's like when I was teaching at the Catholic Church, I was teaching the first and second graders, catechism classes, 3 days a week. I did 2 days during the week. And then after Mass or during Mass on Sundays when the adults, would be in there having their Mass, the kids would be in with me and they'd be learning. And I love inspiring kids and I love, just doing that ministry. It just really fills you up inside. It makes you feel good when you're teaching people how to go to God, like how to, doing that work of Christ, which is what he asked me to do. He asked me years ago, he said, Kimberly, I want you to teach people how to hear me and how to hear God and how, to go direct to God, basically the work that he was doing. I'm trying to continue that by teaching people how to connect directly. And what I love about your ministry is it's non-denominational. It's not the doctrine. Like I left the Catholic Church because of all the doctrines and all of the stuff, the bad things going on in that church and stuff like that. I left it, and just organized religions in general are just kind of upsetting because there's so much, all the doctrine and everything.
I have to say, my dogma got run over by my karma.
Your dogma got run over by your that's a good one. But the important thing is that you're giving something that, how do I want to say it, it's not one one size fits some certain people. It's kind of one size fits all. You know what I mean? It's like everybody, so it's all inclusive of everybody, not just only like a small group of people. What you're doing, anybody can join in, and it's going to be inspirational. So that's what I really like, because the old way of doing religions is you have all of these people fighting against each other because they all made up all these little rules that run their life, and all of those rules were created by men. They weren't even created by God. They were created by men, and they each have their own little sub rules and their sub laws and their sub things, instead of just following God's laws, which is general for the whole population, like the 10 Commandments: don't kill, be nice to people. I mean, it's really simple, love people, be compassionate, kind, forgiving, basically all the things that Jesus Christ was teaching. Yeshua, I call him Yeshua, but all the stuff he was teaching, I wish every church would just really focus on that, like really focus on getting that message out. And I know that you've always been about following the real message and inspiring people, that way, which is really awesome.
Thank you. It's truly, it's my path, and it truly, and honest to God, I'm going to be real honest with you. When I had to move from Dallas, where everything was happening, my whole life was happening and stuff like that, and moved to a little country town that I didn't know a soul except Joe, and it was hard. It really was hard. And I had to just go through my detox, if you will, of wanting things to be different. But I also think that sometimes the stories in the Bible, like people being sent out into the wilderness and doing all that, and in other religions, the Native Americans vision quests, and people who
Mm-hmm.
in Buddhism or whatever, they
Yeah.
take away from the world. And I do feel like that's what had to happen to me, is I had to be stripped down to say, okay, obviously I don't have, and I do have some friends here, but I don't have anybody that I didn't grow up here. They all grew up here. They all went to the same school. Their kids, their grandkids, their mothers, their fathers. They go to different churches, and it's fine. But I had to be open, Kimberly, and this is the message I want people, your audience, to hear: is you may feel like you have been buried and you're in the dark, but I want you to consider maybe you've been planted.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've been planted, because as soon as and my whole thing is about changing your story. because we have these dramatic stories, and people, if they read my little book, Giddy Up Girl, Why Are You Waiting? And you can just go to giddyupgirlbook.com, read the first chapter. But I'm all about changing my story, because we have these stories and they've got drama and intrigue and,
Right.
and we,
Victimhood. Everybody's a victim. And it's like,
but we even do this, and I bring this out when we tell our stories many times. We do the same posture. We lean in, or we engage someone, or we, lean back, or, and it was like me, I was like a buzzard, waiting for my opening so that I could tell my story. And and I had broken my back twice. And so that was my big story. And so, but I realized, in order to get well, and in order for me not to have any pain, which I have no back pain, I had to change my story. So I had to do the same thing when I moved to this little town. I changed my story about, wow, I don't have any friends and I can't, blah, blah, blah. And truly, I mean, we have a grocery store and stuff, but in order to go to any main shopping, it's 130 miles round trip.
wow.
Yeah.
That's far.
Yeah, but we have 80 mile an hour on our freeway. So I just took that time to go within, and I'm good with it now. But that's my message, is always about looking for the good, fessing up, when you're not doing well and you're not feeling well. So what's your story? What are you talking about? What are you thinking about? What feelings does it evoke? And the truth of the matter is, when we change our story, and David said it this way, he said, let the words of my mouth, what I talk about, and the meditations of my heart, what I'm thinking about, be acceptable in your sight. So what are you talking about? How are you feeling about it? How are you thinking about it? And if you don't like it, change it.
Yep, that's true. I it's so funny, because I was a stress reduction expert for a long time. And the biggest thing I told people is, if you're not happy with your life the way it's going, then make a change. If you don't like your job, then start looking for a new job, or go back to school like I did, and I went back to school and became a travel agent for a while, So, I mean, if you,
before, yeah,
it's just like, well, the biggest thing I tell people is, you are the co-creator of your life with God. God and you co-create your life. So, and instead of sitting there and going, wow, 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 it's like, get busy and do something about it. Because people kind of sit in their house. I find this with a lot of people, is they literally sit in their house and they expect just everything to come to them. Like, everything's just going to come. Like, money is going to come, boyfriends are going to come. I have people who want to manifest their dream husband or wife, but they want to sit in their house and hide and not like go find. It's like, unless you go out and meet people, how are you going to meet your dream spouse? It's not going to happen. You have to, my best friend always likes to say, the universe wants to see your work. The universe wants to see your work. You can't like literally sit here all day, do nothing, and then expect everything to just come to you and happen for you. Life does not work that way. So instead of complaining, make lemonade out of your lemons and go do something. Get busy doing something, even if it means volunteering somewhere temporarily until you get a job, or whatever, but get busy doing something instead of just sitting and focusing and wallowing on the negative of life. You need to start focusing on what you want to create, because we're quickly manifesting right now with the way the energy has been changing on the planet. Everything I think and everything I say out of my mouth now is just quickly manifesting, like boom, 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 boom. And the more negative stuff that comes out of your mouth, the more you're going to manifest more of that. You're going to attract more of that to you. So instead of saying, oh, I can't find a job, instead say, I am going to find the perfect job. It's coming. I know it's coming. I'm so grateful, God, that you're bringing me the perfect job. That's the way you do it.
Start laying out your clothes for that job. You're actually going to go there. Pick out the route that you think that you might be driving. What are you going to have for lunch? And you said something really important. Well, you've said a lot of important stuff. One of the things is about people just sitting in their house waiting for, everything to fall in their lap. But, the truth of that is, that's their belief system. I'm immobilized. I'm not powerful. I'm just going to wait for somebody else to manifest. And that's, And they are manifesting, they're manifesting that immobility. They're
Right.
manifesting keeping everything away because they're not willing to go out.
Well, I think that they're stuck in fear. Part of it is fear. Part of it is wrong beliefs that they're not good enough, they're not worthy, da 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 da. All these wrong beliefs people told them since they were children. A lot of people have been beaten down their whole life. People have said a lot of negative things to them, and they take that into their subconscious. And 95% of your life is run by your subconscious programming. And a lot of that is these negative things that people have said to you. So they're sitting there at home going, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm just a waste of space, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too ugly, I'm not that, and they're sitting there and doing this. I'm not smart enough to do a job, I'm not good enough, blah, 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 blah. And they sit there in their story and they're like focusing on that. They're like fully focused in that.
So they are powerful creators. They're
Yeah.
creating that. The other thing that you said was that many people that you talk to say, I can't. Oh, I can't do this. I can't. And so I always say, that is not honest. The truth of the matter is you can. So let's be honest.
Right.
And let's just talk about this and say, I won't. In fact, today's tug service is all about that. And it's called Who Are You Hanging Out With? People in your life and people on Zoom and people, and also your thoughts in your head.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is when we say, instead of saying, well, I can't quit that job even though I hate it, blah, blah, blah. I can't tell that person, that I don't want to be with them or whatever. And there is no power. That is very disempowering. There's a lot of guilt and shame and fear and stuff. So I always invite people, just say the truth. I won't leave that person. I won't tell them I won't leave that job. And then all of a sudden you have to say, well, why won't I?
Right.
It's always a payoff.
Right.
I'm a martyr, it's going to make me look holy, or whatever. And, but I think that when we can just language things a little bit differently, Kimberly, it brings our power back.
Well, and I have to fess up to the world and say that was me in the past. I was that person. I was doing that until I learned and I got connected, plugged into God, and started learning that that's not who I am as a divine daughter of God. That's not who I am, that I am this powerful co-creator. And until I learned my lessons and did my shadow work, which I talk about, in my book, I did all my shadow work, and I got over all that victim, because I was stuck in the victim thing and that I can't, thing. And every now and then that comes out and I have to catch myself, because I'm a human, I'm not perfect. And I have to look at it and go, oh no, I just did it again. I have to catch myself.
Well, that's
but I was there.
When you're talking with other people, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, I've heard about people like you. It's like, oh yeah, been there, done that. And still sometimes, yeah. And that's what makes you authentic. That's what makes you so powerful.
Yeah.
And, so if we can stand in our own stuff and look at it and go, okay, okay. I had, and I tell this story sometimes about, I've never advertised for a client, ever, a coaching client. They always find me because I made a deal with God and the universe years ago. I just said, look, that is way too much work. I'm going to give it all to the person,
Right.
but I'm just going to leave it up to you. And, you just bring them to me, bring the right people to me. And it has always worked out that way.
Yeah, I did the same. And I went beyond that, Jeannie. I said to God, I want to attract people who are like me, because for 7 years I was doing this healing business where I was attracting all of these negative energy vampire people. I shouldn't say all my clients were, because some of my clients were really nice.
Yeah.
But a good portion of them were negative energy vampires. And this time when I restarted up doing spiritual work with people, I made a decision that I don't want that. I don't need to be drained and sucked and stuff. And so I said to God, I had a chat with God and I said, can you please send me people who are just like me, who are loving, kind, compassionate, spiritual seekers that are just on their journey and need a little bit of help? That is who I want to work with. I just want to work with people who are already really high vibrational people. They just need a little bit of help and encouragement and support and teaching. And, that's about it. And guess what? Ever since I started doing this work back last spring, everybody, like, I want to say February, starting last February, everybody who's been coming into my life and into my spiritual guidance practice has been wonderful, beautiful souls, you know, absolutely beautiful people who are just very high vibe, very loving, very kind, compassionate people. They just need some healing or some direction, you know, whatever. And that's the way you need to work it. That's all co-creating with God. That's what it's all about.
So people don't realize that all of the high achievers, whether it's an athlete, a musician, a gymnast, a business person, all these people get help. You know, they get coaching from someone who knows what they're talking about.
Right.
And so, you know, if someone's thinking like, oh, well, you know, I don't need coaching. Well, okay, maybe you don't. But if you want to achieve, if you want to reach your highest level spiritually, emotionally, financially, or whatever it is, just say, hey, you know, I need some help, because God knows, Kimberly, I have so much training, you know, because I was very clear on the fact that I didn't know as much as I thought I did, and I needed some help. And truly, what I have always said is that my job with my clients, and I try to do this with True You Group too, and Tug, and just tell the truth, and also the beautiful network of women, you know, it is, I hold up the mirror of perfection to others, because we can all see our flaws and our scars and our shortcomings, but we are not as skilled at seeing how beautiful and powerful and wonderful that we are. And it's, I mean, a skilled coach will get people on the way, pat them on the head and go get them, you know, and it's not a lifetime commitment. But my coaching clients, most of them, I'm not coaching them anymore. We're friends now, you know, because they've gotten their act together. So it's great. I just love what you're doing.
Oh, thanks. Well, I love what you're doing too. I mean, well, I've always loved what you're doing. You've done so much. So, you know, so you've already kind of talked about Tug. So what motivated you to start the Be Now Beautiful network of women? What motivated you to do that?
This is very interesting. And it is not political. Okay, so don't anyone get all, you know, wound around the axle, as we say here in Texas. But in January of 2017, we had the election, and their emotions were running high. And, you know, they're still running high. But my friend Cindy Jordan, that I talked to you about, and we were talking about, and she lives in San Angelo, which is about 100 miles northwest of us. And so we don't get together a lot, but we're always in contact. And we just started talking about the pain, but more of that, the anger, but sort of the self degradation that we were seeing with women who were like so crazed, you know, what, wearing things on their heads and screaming, I'm a nasty woman, and, you know, all of this. But we took it a step further. It wasn't just that. It was like, we started talking about the fact that women of all ages, including young women, do not have a good template for how truly special femininity is. We are the
Yeah.
life givers. You know, I mean, the babies come through us, okay?
Mhm.
And so we saw women of all walks of life and ages and stuff like that not respecting themselves. And, you know, it's just like, it was heartbreaking to me to see women, you know, and of course I grew up in Dallas, and so that's a whole different vibe, you know, but it is, you can look elegant, you can act like a lady and still be the real deal, and still show up with a sense of self. And so the more we talked about it, we just said, you know, let's just put, and she had been in network marketing before, and I had years ago and stuff. And we said, you know, if we network with one another, if we set up and we decide to call it the Beautiful Network of Women, not the Network of Beautiful Women, because, you know, all women are beautiful, but
Yes.
might preclude someone who doesn't feel beautiful. And so it's the network of the Beautiful Network of Women. So it's a beautiful network. And we just start reaching out to people. And I have a radio show. In fact, women in your audience, if they would like to be interviewed on my Be Now podcast, all they have to do is contact me. and it's beautifulnetworkofwomen@gmail.com, beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. And to see and they want to come to our retreats. I'm serious. This one in March is going to be like the bomb. We've been doing it in big cities. And because of all the lockdown and stuff, we found a multi-million-dollar Texas ranch about 60 miles from here. The top of it is on a cliff, and it overlooks their whole big part of it's on 160 acres.
Oh, it sounds gorgeous.
Guadalupe River, and we're going to have tubing and kayaks and outdoor stuff. It is fantastic, and it's all going to be it's all inclusive. So all meals, all drink, everything, all of the speakers. It is extraordinary. So ladies, if you're listening, go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com and look at our retreat. And, we're starting to really fill up fast, but here's the great thing. I have access to a couple of other beautiful B&Bs that are, like real close by. So we'll have spillover, but it's going to be fantastic. But when we did the Beautiful Network of Women, we just said, we want to be of service to women. We want to remind them who they are. And, one of the things that we find so troubling is in these days of social media and stuff like that, are these young girls, and they want to fit in. And, so all of a sudden they get a phone, or they get a computer access, and TikTok and Instagram and all of this jazz. And they're sexting, and they don't have any idea of their worth and their value.
No.
Once it's out there, those pictures are on the internet forever. So we are on a crusade and our tagline is women advocating women of all ages, and together healing the world with love. And so that's our mission. And
beautiful. I love it.
And so one of these days, once everything clears up and we can fly and stuff like that, we need to get you down and be one of our presenters and all of that.
Oh, I would love that. I got to get through the COVID thing. I have an autoimmune disorder, so if I get COVID, or I just said that, I might have to erase that. Hopefully they don't delete my network off of here, but if I wasn't.
It's well known that it's worldwide, but we don't have to live in fear. But we are having one in March, and that's the 19th through the 22nd. That's Friday through Monday. We're also having one at this same ranch in September, the 24th through the 27th of 2021, Friday through Monday. So the only one we have up on our website, you only do it one at a time. So we're doing the March one first. And then we'll do the September one, and we'll get that going. So if anyone's interested, believe me, you're going to love it. But what I love, and you and I were talking off air, is that although the mission for lifting women up, and then the other one through Beautiful Network Women, and the other one through TUG, True You Group, is similar, they're on sort of parallel paths because the one is only for women. And the women have to be 18 and older to come.
Okay, that's good to know.
18 and older. And simply because, it's just younger than that, it's a little precarious, and I don't want to be that responsible. So.
Well, you don't want to have to be the mom to all those, they're not, it's a maturity level thing. They're not ready for the information yet.
But with TUG, True You Group, we have men, we have women, we have young people, and we don't have the kids yet, but we've got the whole program ready to plug in. And now that you and I are talking, I want to do an adolescent, teenager, young adult type of thing. So,
yeah.
But that is, everybody is welcome on that. So it's, I love it that we have one that is simply for women, and then I have one that is completely all inclusive.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So let's see. I wanted to ask, I had like a bunch of questions I wanted to ask you. So what message do you have for world women wide? Like, what is an important message that you can give that would be really helpful to any women worldwide that are listening to this right now? What is something you would like for them to know? Because you're so into inspiring women And right now, I think a lot of women really need some upliftment, seriously. So what is something you would like to share with
What I want to tell all women, you are precious, you are powerful creators, you are one of a kind. It's just like our fingerprints are one of a kind. You are one of a kind, and you are here for a purpose. And you may not know what that purpose is, but if you open yourself up, just, and it doesn't have to be world changing. I mean, you don't have to do something 7 days a week like I'm doing or like you're doing. I mean, just show up, just be your best you, but to love yourself, to honor yourself, to not devalue yourself. And I mean, I am not a prude, believe me, I'm all about, I own a winery, good Lord, I'm all about
That's funny.
cussing and sex and all that stuff, but only with my husband. But it's like, value yourself and look for ways to have that reflected back to you.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody put you down. That really is the message. And find people. If you are hanging out with people and they don't value you and they put you down and they have these little digs and stuff like that, my question to you is, why would you put up with it? What are you getting out of it?
Right.
When would you like that to change?
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really important. The thing that really blows my mind is how girls bully each other, in school. And it's worse, you don't really see this as much with males. It's usually the females are the worst in the school systems with the bullying. I was a victim of bullying from the age of like literally 3 years of age, by other little, girls and older girls even. I had an older neighbor upstairs in the apartments I grew up in. And I was 3 and she was bullying me, and she was like 10 or something, and she was bullying me. And that went on until I graduated high school basically. And girls are so mean, and they're way worse when they're teenagers. It gets worse. And now what's really scary for young women is the social media, because they will blackmail you, and they'll take like pictures of you, like these guys. A girl will go out with a guy, he'll get a topless picture of the girl, and he'll put it all over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And and so they're getting bullied, and the cyberbullying is a really, really big thing. And one of my deep wishes would be to eliminate that off the planet forever. Like, I'm just so sick and tired of people disparaging other people and hurting other people. And a lot of that starts in the home, honestly, because I really believe that the bullies are girls who have really low self-esteem. They come from broken homes, or they come from homes where there's a drug or alcohol problem, or they come from homes where their parents are abusing them, or they come from homes that are just, I feel like girls who have really, really loving, nurturing families, and also who have some kind of faith, they have, whether they're Jewish or Christian or, Muslim or whatever, when they have they have a religious backbone or some kind of spirituality, and they're raised with that, and they have a really loving foundation. I noticed that those girls do not bully other people. Like, if you look at all of the girls in my history who bullied me, they came from homes where their father beat them, or their parents were divorced, and the mother was a drug addict or an alcoholic. It was always a bad situation, always. I never ever had a girl who bullied me who came from a really good foundation where the parents were loving, nurturing, good people, and they had some sort of a faith, they believed in God, whatever. So I think that it's really important in the history, as we go forward on this planet, we're trying to create this new heavenly earth that we want to create. It's going to be really all about starting in the home, when children are babies, making sure that every child on this planet gets the love and the nurturing and the compassion and the guidance that they need, and that they are given a spiritual backbone, that they are taught to connect with God. Because I really think that, and this is where I'm going in my future, I'm going to be teaching a lot of children about that, how to connect with God directly, because I think it's so important from the minute children are young, that they understand their connection to source and they get connected into that. because when they have that connection and they understand that God wants us to be loving and kind and compassionate and forgiving to others, which is what Yeshua, Jesus Christ, came here to teach. When you teach children that from a young age and they grow up with those foundations, like I taught my kids are the nicest people. They would give their shirt off their back to any other children. My son would protect kids who were being bullied. When he was at school, he was the kid. Yeah, he was the kid who protected the kids who were being bullied. My daughter got bullied when she was young, horribly, but she's always taken everyone under her wing. She's like the little mama to all of her friends. You know, she counsels. She's been a counselor since she was like me. She takes after me because I did the same. I counseled everybody. I was bullied, but all of the kids who were the outcasts, I took them under my wings and I counseled them and I helped them. And I've been doing this my whole life. I've been counseling people. And I think it's important when you have a foundation, like in my home, where we gave them a lot of love. We had a stable home and we gave them a lot of love and a lot of nurturing, and we took them to church and we taught them, you know, spiritual beliefs in the home as well, connecting to God and the importance of being a decent human being. When you give kids that foundation, it ends, I think it will end in the future, any of, you know, that kind of stuff ever happening. And that's what I'd like to see. Like, that's my fondest, one of my fondest dreams, is to see disparagement and bullying and all that stuff. I want it to just go away, because so many kids, again, have committed suicide because they were bullied. They were cyberbullied.
We have to model that ourselves. And that's what we're doing with the Beautiful Network. And we have younger women who come too. And if we treat but we have to treat ourselves with respect.
Yes.
You know, I mean, really, we have to, if we're not treating ourselves, Kimberly, with love and respect and a real understanding of who we are at our core, the light givers, the nurturers, the and powerful. I mean, and it doesn't, I'm certainly not saying everyone needs to have children. That's not everyone's path, you know?
No.
That's not it. But we have to love ourselves. And as we do, we can help our children, we can help our teens, we can help our grandchildren. And it has to start somewhere. And so even with the cyber stuff, and I get it, what you're saying, we've talked about this, but what I love is this technology that allows you and I to have this conversation, to reach thousands of people, to bring this message to people, and to, you know, hold up the mirror of perfection to them too. So.
Yeah, I feel so blessed that I have this Zoom thing available where we can tape these, you know, we can do these videos and tape this and get it out to people. I mean, my whole channel is all about free education. There's a lot of channels where you have to pay, you know, to watch videos, and mine are always, you know, free. I don't have anything monetized, and it's all about getting information, education, and upliftment out, you know, to people. It's so important, and I'm using this amazing technology to do that. So we're really blessed, you know, to have this, especially with all of this stuff. And I'm hoping they don't go and pull my video or pull my channel because I said the C word on there. Yeah, because I know that they have like this robot thing where they look for people saying certain words in their videos, and they shut down their channels. And
well, let's just make a pact that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to make a pact that how do I want to say it? That we are invisible to the negative forces out there.
Yeah. Okay, that's a done deal.
Yeah, we are now invisible to all the negative forces in the world. Yeah, only the people who are meant to see this will see this in Jesus Christ's name. That's what I say. Yes. So you wrote this book last year called Giddy Up Girl, Why Are You Waiting? Can you tell us about that book?
Yeah. Well, I had written 2 other books years ago when I was the Unity minister, and one was called Giving from an Empty Well, and then the other one was called Filling Your Well. And I mean, they were just little books, and you know, they didn't really do, I mean, people loved them, but you know, I don't even promote them. But I had been, you know, thinking that I wanted to write a book, I wanted to write another book and whatever. And, and God has such a sense of humor, because you can only imagine July and August in Texas is a little bit warm. And so in July of last year, our air conditioning unit in our house went totally out. Well, we're in a small town, so there's only really one air conditioning group there. And he was on vacation for 2 weeks in July. Like, okay. So Joe was going to the clinic and to the kennel, and he was in air conditioning. And I couldn't even sit in the house. I had to do like my radio shows out on my back patio. And we were sleeping. We do have a little guest cottage that has a air conditioner in it. So we were sleeping there. So that was good. And we put the dogs in there with us and stuff. But I was spending all my days out at my big Tuscan table, jumping up, jumping in the pool, coming back, drinking iced tea, stuff like that. And I just thought, it just kept coming to me, just write your book, write your book. And so I was talking with Cindy Jordan about it. And this is how we help one another. And so I just kind of want to write and it's only 100 pages. And it's kind of stories that I've told my clients and, some tips and hints and clues and life lessons and stuff. And I said, I have no idea what to call it. And she went, are you kidding me? And I went, well, no, I'm not kidding you. And she said, well, what do you always say? And I was like, I don't know. What do I always say? And she said, Giddy Up Girl. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was like, okay, Giddy Up Girl. And then I looked and there's a whole lot of books called Giddy Up Girl. And there's a whole clothing line. I mean, it's a big popular thing. And so I decided to append it with a subtitle, Why Are You Waiting? Because we do. And we talked about that earlier. We're sitting in our house, we're waiting for this, we're waiting for that. It's like, no, get on it. Giddy up, girl, why are you waiting? And then when I went to get the URL for it, it was, I couldn't get it at all because it doesn't matter. It's like everyone had grabbed that. So the URL is giddyupgirlbook.com. And people can actually find my radio programs on there too. And they can also find my radio programs. They're automatically, with B Now, they're automatically updated and uploaded to Beautiful Network of Women on a link and giddyupgirlbook.com. But when I sat down with that title and it just flowed out of me. And I for 6 hours. I'm serious. I got up to get some iced tea. I got up, to go in the house once or twice, came back. I wrote solid for 6 hours and it was done.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so, it's people told me they love it. And I mean, it's a tiny little book, but I think it's power packed. And again, it goes back to my short attention span. Come on, giddy up, girl, let's do it. And so and I actually start out the book, Kimberly. I have, with me waking up in the hospital in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I had gone there for a friend's wedding. And the day before I left, we rented horses and went for a ride. But the stable, the guy who had cinched my horse, I didn't cinch it myself, didn't cinch it right. And we went into a gallop and the saddle came off.
Oh.
And I broke my back. I broke a bunch
of stuff. My gosh. Oh,
that's one of my big stories is that I've broken my back twice, so that's my big juicy story.
So painful. It's so painful. Oh my gosh.
I had to give it up. And
wow.
I wrote a story about it and I just said I'm not having any more pain.
Mm-hmm.
And because later I had married and I had a child and a toddler. I couldn't even lift him. I was hurting. And I was telling this story over and over and over again. I went, okay. So I'm big about affirmations and denial. So here's a good denial if you're from Texas. This is bullshit. And so this bullshit. I'm not doing it. We're not having pain. And I would jump out of bed and I'd scream and I'd go, that's it for the day. But the hardest part of that is changing my story. So I owned a travel agency at that time. People say, oh yeah, my husband and I went skiing and he broke his leg. And I was always waiting like a buzzard, to tell my story. And, and I go, oh, I would look, sympathetic. And I'd go, oh, I'm so sorry, but I know about broken bones,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd broken my back. Oh my gosh. And then I would lean in for the kill and I go, twice. Oh my God. So but what I realized, I had to quit telling that story. And that was the hardest part. The pain went away. But someone would say something and I would start to say it and I'd go, I'm very sorry. I gotta go. You know, I have to leave. And so finally I just started telling the stories like, I'm so strong and I can run and I can do anything and I play with my son and I bicycled and I work out. And when I owned the winery, I mean, I don't know if you've ever slung cases of wine around. They're not light, but I was slinging around cases of wine. So the whole thing is the book about Giddy Up Girl is like, give up your story. And
Right.
and I know it because I've been there. And there's
Right.
magical things that have happened to me. Contact with my parents both died over 45 years ago. And so, contact accidentally with my dad that I didn't even know. I thought he hated me. And, so it's an interesting little book. And if people like it,
Well, it sounds inspirational, and that's the most important thing is putting out things into the world that inspire people. And anytime I've ever written a blog, I've been writing hundreds of blogs over the last 20 years of my life, and everything I've written has been positive, uplifting, inspirational, not negative and doom and gloom. And speaking of doom and gloom, unfortunately I do have people who watch my videos who take everything really literally, and then some of them will freak out. So I just wanted to comment that what I said earlier about the people who are bullying who came from families blah 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 blah, I don't want people to think that I was saying that if you're a single mom and you have a kid, your kid's going to be a bully, because I wasn't saying that at all. I have a lot of friends who are single moms. I have a lot of friends that came from single mom families, and they were wonderful, loving, amazing people. I'm talking about having a parent that instills values into their child, and it doesn't matter if they're married or separated or what the situation is. It has to do, and I'm just saying this because of all the people who will watch my videos and they'll say, oh, are you telling me that because I'm a single mom or blah, 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 that, and it's like, I just want to specify or point that out, that I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying,
I come from a broken home. My parents
yeah,
were religious, and then my dad twisted off and he left
yeah,
it. And then I, became a single mom. And so it really is a choice. And
yes,
but what I heard you say truly
mhm,
is this, that we need to have compassion for
yes.
people who are bullying other people, because at the end of the day, they have been abused and
They've been abused. That's what it's all about. It's really about the abuse, and what abuse, and then they have low self-esteem is really what it boils down to, and they have it for different reasons. And I was just pointing out some of those reasons that could contribute to that, but I just wanted to specify that because of the fact that every time I'm interviewed on a show, I get in trouble because I'll say something and somebody like hones in on that one thing that I say, and then they freak out. And
no,
so,
I hold up the mirror of perfection to you. You're doing a great job, and I
uh,
didn't think it that way. What I heard is, let's understand, let's have some compassion, and let's stop this in its tracks. Let's,
yeah,
let's try to create, instead of raising children, you know,
hmm,
who need to have counseling and need to be fixed. How about let's
right,
raise children who know who they are, and it
right,
starts with us. And most
yeah,
of us didn't get it ourselves.
hmm,
We get everything we needed.
yeah.
And so Earth is hard. Earth is beautiful, but Earth is hard. And so let's be compassionate. That's what
Yeah, I think the important thing is that no matter what your situation is, if you have a child, it is your job to make sure that that child is given love and affection and compassion, and that you love yourself and you model that example. Like you said, of the self-love, you were talking earlier about self-love. You're basically modeling that for your child, because you need to love yourself first, and then you teach your child how to do the same. And you need to teach your child how to love themselves as well. That's really important, because a lot of girls who are bullied like myself, I had low self-esteem because I didn't love myself, and my mom didn't love herself, and she never taught me how to love myself. Plus my mom was psychologically abusive to me, and physically abusive to me too. So on top of that, plus the
not,
bullying.
not everybody. You didn't end up bullying people. So
No, I've never bullied anyone in my entire life.
it could,
But I kind of feel like I attracted bullies because I had really low self-esteem. So, yeah.
So before we get too far, because I don't know how long we have, but
Yeah, I just wanted, so how can women find out, because, oh, it's already 2:11. So how can women find out about your retreats, and also to be interviewed on your show? What's the best way to get a hold of you for that?
okay, go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. Sign up for the retreat there. And I actually do, if you go there, I actually do have ways for you to get in touch with me, including my phone number. So you can text me or you can call me. And the sooner the better, because, you know, as you said, we've been all locked down. We're ready to go do something. So it's going to be beautiful. And we're going to be in an environment with, you know, lots of space. And we're not going to be going out to restaurants and stuff like that. It's all going to be provided for you. And so beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. You can also email me at beautifulnetworkofwomen@gmail.com. Okay, so it's real easy. If you are interested in True You Group, you can get in touch with me at Jeannie, that's Jeanie, just one N, IE, at True You, just a U, group.com. We also, I post every day on Facebook and on YouTube. The YouTube gets uploaded to Facebook. So you can find me on Beautiful Network of Women, True You Group, Jeanie Brosius King. I mean, I'm everywhere. But go to the YouTube channel too. Please subscribe, like. One of the biggest things that people can do is just share, you know, and get the word out. But hit the notifications bell. You'll be notified every time. If you go to trueyougroup.com, you'll see Sunday services, you'll see meditations, you'll see daily messages. But also we have an email. You can just sign up for an email. And I haven't done anything with the email yet, but I am building this, and I will never spam anybody. I'll never sell anything. You know, but if you want to be notified when we start adding this, like the children's programs and the young adults and teenagers programs, I will be sending out emails. And I just so appreciate you giving me this platform, but more than that, for us having this conversation, which is so rich and robust and loving, because I mean, what else is there, Kimberly?
I'm honored to have you here. This has been awesome. I'm so glad I got to talk to you here on my channel and expose you to my audience, because I mean, you're just an amazing, beautiful being of light. You're beautiful inside and out. And I just wanted to share you with all my friends and people who follow me, and, you know, what you're doing, because, like I told you before we had this conversation, I asked you to do this because ever since I've known you, what I know about you is that you've been nothing but service to the world your whole life, you know, just constantly helping others, just always service to others. And your husband too, you know, both of you, just all about service to humanity. And you're just beautiful people. And that's, you know, talking about beautiful network of women, you're beautiful, beautiful people. And so I really, really appreciate you. I'm so grateful. One last question: is Tug or True You Group for women only?
No, men, women, kids, teenagers, everybody, worldwide, everybody. It's families.
Okay.
It's for everybody.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again. And for everybody who's watching, I'm going to put Jeannie's contact information in the description, her websites, her book, which is a really inspirational little book. Even though it's small, it's very inspirational. So I'm going to put that on my description. It'll be on the description of this video. And you can get a hold of Jeannie through that, because she is also a coach. And she does do these amazing retreats. And if you could go to her retreat, I'm sure you will have a wonderful time. I know that I would love to go to one of those as soon as I can. I'm going to be at one of your retreats as soon as I'm able.
Men, and they go like, well, you know, I could video this for you, or I could cater that. And I was like, yeah, no Y chromosomes. We are all women. We love our husbands, we love our sons, we love our brothers, but no men. And what it does is it creates a very secure, safe, fun environment. And we dance, we sing, we have music. I mean, we have so much fun. It's not even funny.
That's awesome.
I bring my wine too.
Well, I know I'm going to be at one of them, and I know that for a fact. It's just a matter of when, because I'm believing that I'm going to be there,
Yeah.
hopefully sooner than later. And we're just going to pray that everything in the world gets much better here. And that's all. I just keep praying for the planet every day for peace and love and, all the political stuff to, just become, balanced and peaceful and, just everything. So,
If I can say anything, we know that God always says yes. And people,
yes.
well, that hasn't been my experience. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. Just be careful what you're asking for. But when we agree on this, and my husband and I have prayer time every morning. We have a prayer list, but we also pray for the whole planet. We pray for our political leaders. We pray for everybody, and it's so we ask believing, and I just believe that everything is in the process of working out perfectly.
Well, I hate to put you on the spot like this, but I'm going to do it and ask you, can you guide us in just a little prayer for the planet right now? I'd really appreciate it since you are an amazing minister. And if you could just guide everybody, myself and everyone who's watching this in a little prayer for our earth, I would really appreciate that before we sign off.
Oh, what an honor. So just take a deep breath and just feel the air going into your lungs. Drop your shoulders. Take another deep breath and realize that as we breathe in, we are breathing in the very life and essence of God. It is charged, the very air that we breathe is charged with energy and creativity. And as we bring this into our bodies, we feel lifted up and calmed. Now I want you to bring that and drop it down into your heart and just feel your heart expand. And now let's take this breath, and I want you to just send this out into your home or your office, into your city or wherever it is that you live, all the way across your state, into hospitals, jails, places where people are feeling alone. We send out this sparkling love and this light, this healing wave of love. And we send it all the way around the world, the United States, every country, every continent. We send it around, lifting other people up. And as we breathe in again, we now anchor this energy into the earth. Every tree, every plant, every bird, every insect, every creature, mammal, and every fish of the sea, every molecule that is in existence, we send sparkling white healing light. And we say, thank you so much for this experience that we get to live on this beautiful planet, that we get to eat these beautiful foods and hear the beautiful sounds of nature and music. And we ask that we become a more sentient and creative part of this earth experience. Now breathe that in. Come back into your body with a sense of gratitude. Let a smile come to your face and know that you and I and everything here is one. And it is all good because God said so. And we are grateful. Thank you, always loving God. Thank you.
Okay, that was awesome. And I hope that it doesn't come across in the video, but my cat is outside the door here and she's been scratching away at the door the whole time. And I can hear this behind me. It's going scratch, 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 scratch because she's on the door trying to get in. She's desperately trying to get into the door here. And so the whole time you were doing your prayer, I was listening to this mess behind me of scratch, 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 scratch. And I was like, oh, why did she pick this time to do this? It's like bad timing.
The energy.
Yeah. She just wanted to be here. Like she just really wants to be in here. And, animals can feel all that. They can feel the energy and everything.
Well, I
So.
had a talk with my 2 dogs because Joe's up at the clinic in the kennel right now. And he said, "You want me to take the dogs?" I went, "No, no," because we have 2 dogs. And so I said, "Okay, guys, I'm going on a Zoom call. It's really important you behave yourself." So they're just out there just doing their thing. So,
I should have had a little chat with her before I came on the Zoom, because I honestly think they understand, because I've done it before and then she stays away. This time I didn't say anything and she's been outside the door just the last like 5-10 minutes going scratch, 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 scratch.
I didn't even hear it. So thank you
I'm
again
just,
so much.
yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you and all that you're doing, all the work you and your husband are doing on earth. We are so grateful for you. You guys are just a blessing, and thank you for your time, and thank all of you for watching. And if you like this video, if it was helpful, please hit the like button so more people can see it. Please subscribe to my channel. Share this with all your friends who you want to uplift and inspire. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.
Put this on both of my websites too. On trueyougroup.com, we'll embed this video, and also on the Beautiful Network of Women. So we'll just share it with everybody. Thanks again. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Bye.